I'm Liz from Milktooth.
And I'm Campbell, and today we're going to be looking at some of the peaches from
From Campbell's book Home Time.
my book Home Time.
So what we're going to be making are these little guys here. And do you want to describe what they're inspired by,
sure.
where they're from?
Yeah, so Home Time is about a group of primary school age kids in Perth who on the last day of school are walking home together and they accidentally fall into the local river, and when they wake up they're in this kind of magic, enchanted, bizarre forest and they have to find their way back home. But while they're in this forest they get adopted by these weird creatures called the peaches, which are like talking fruit. They're like a little village full of talking
Very
fruit.
May Gibbs Gumnut babies.
Very May Gibbs, very Smurfs.
Yes.
So they're cute, they're like about this big, they're soft, squishy, they're literally fruit that have grown on a tree and fallen off. And they dress in kind of fantastical, amazing clothes that they make themselves out of what's in the forest. So shells, leaves, feathers. We're going to show you how to make these little
So
doll versions.
we've had a lot of fun over the last couple of years running this workshop, making it with kids, and it's really great because all the materials are things that you can hunt and gather on your travels, walks with your family. We've used acrylic felt. Let's get them all out so you can have a little look at what some of them are. So here's a cute little guy made from a little silver princess or gungara. The sort of matte little balls are woolen balls made from sheep's wool, and we've also got some that are made by using just those little craft pom-poms.
So they're like an acrylic one, are they?
They're made from acrylic, yeah. So my favourite ones are these teeny tiny little, as some of you who do my classes will know, I love to make things that are super teeny tiny.
There are big ones?
Yes.
Kind of big, weird,
That's
spooky looking ones?
That's definitely a Campbell one.
That's definitely one that I've made.
Yeah.
But you can see what I think is really fun is using the same kind of bits. So this gumnut and this gumnut, one of them's used to make the head, and the other one's used to make the body. So you can keep using the parts for different things.
Yeah.
And that I think is one of the really fun things about making these.
This workshop is super fun because the materials tell you what to do. So all the different types of gumnuts, the more you experiment putting them together, the more they will let you know what they want to be. And it's you can have just hours and hours of fun making these guys, which we have. These are great ones. These ones with their little
backpacks of twigs.
Yeah, those twigs they've collected.
Been out gathering. And so like you were saying, it's really an activity about listening. It's really about listening to the materials, about what they want to become and what they want to do, and making that happen.
This little hat here.
Those seed pods are great hats.
Yeah.
This one almost looks like a little wanderer or a wizard or a druid or something. So there's a selection of some that we've made in previous workshops.
Yeah.
And shall we design one now together?
Yeah, I'll just quickly let you know what we're going to need. So we've got a selection of different gumnuts, things from nature that you found, leaves, different seed pods. It's we're so lucky in Australia with the amazing variety and diversity in the way that these things look. They're just so inspiring. I've got some little pieces here in a smaller container. I've got some of those pom-poms I was talking about. These ones are felt. They come in all different colours. I've just got neutral colours here, and then we've got some bright little acrylic pom-poms that you might have around the house. The one thing I will, if you're able to buy anything, I would buy this craft glue. It's called craft glue. I don't know what its technical name might be, but it is the only glue that just does the job, and it just works, and it just sticks the stuff together. So it works in the same sort of not way, but it sticks as well as hot glue guns, but they're safer than hot glue guns. So
and it's not as toxic as super glue, for example.
No, it's not like super glue, and it's got like a bend and a stretch, so you can still move things around a little bit, and it takes like 30 seconds to a minute to kind of hold things in place, and it dries properly after a few hours. So I do recommend, if you're in your craft space to get some craft glue. I love this stuff. The other thing I recommend is to have some secateurs, or these florist scissors are really great, especially for kids to use because they've got the nice big handles and a lot of space to squeeze in a very small space that you need to get the power to, I guess. So let's have a little go. So let's start with this little guy here, and I'll show you how well this works, and it just quite easily clips
And
off.
so anything you cut off, save it.
Yeah, save it
Because
actually.
that might be a button
Let's
or a
see how we
brooch
can
or...
use that little bit in this creation. Our challenge, those two little bits, let's use them. So different things stick together in different ways. These obviously don't stand on that end, but you can stand it up on that end. So let's see what it wants us to do next.
Some of it's about, testing it and turning it over and seeing what looks good and what works. And that one, that one works. So let's get a head, maybe. Bit of felt head.
I quite like things to have bigger heads, but you can do a smaller head.
Well, we can have a play.
Okay. Well, that looks cute.
Well, what does it? Does it look cuter with a bigger head?
Well, what about this for a hat
cute.
on top of that littler head? Oh, look at that hat.
That looks pretty good.
Shall I leave that bit there?
I think maybe cut that off. It'll do it better.
Let's use it. Right, so let's cut that off.
Use it for something. And I'm going to squish that head down a little bit, make it a bit flatter.
What do you think about that?
That's a very spiky fella.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, let's try. Let's try. All right. So we'll glue these together.
I recommend when you are not using your glue to store it upside down, which I didn't just do, but it just means that then it's really quick to come out when it's up this way.
Sure.
And these smaller ones are good because you can just twist it off to open it, and then I buy bigger ones to refill these smaller ones. So I'll just put a blob here, and then you pull it away like that.
And then if I just squish it there, if I
And
hold
I'll
it together for a little while.
Yeah, just 30 seconds or something. And I'll put a little bit. It's kind of got like a bit of Marge Simpson here, isn't it? Shall we put it? Shall I get some on there? Yeah,
for sure. Let's see. And because they're pretty quick to make, usually you can really experiment. And have fun. You know.
They are very addictive once you get started as well. We were just talking before that we have discussed making like a whole chess set out of these guys.
Yeah.
Because you can see how easily they, can become kings and queens and rooks and little pawns as well.
Little ones and
Is that stuck on there?
It's sticking.
Let's see. So what you need to do is, can you see like it's already wants to stick on there?
That's probably
enough. So you can keep working, and then let's see where it stands. Oh. And because it's kind of tipping that way, let's make sure we balance him out by making his hat go a little bit like that. So I'm just going to hold that there for a little while.
So you're not really pushing down, are you?
No, oh look at that, it's already holding. Do you want to just hold it there, and I'm just going to see what we've got.
Carefully hold it.
Here's some little bits of acrylic, and so let's see. Here's bits that are scraps and leftovers from previous projects, but that looks kind of nice together, like a little cloak going around. I'm just going to trim those. And again, that's the thing about making anything, is doing it is what tells you what it wants to be. So
as long as you're listening. Wow, that looks amazing.
Do you like that?
I do like that. So if people at home don't have felt, what can they do?
Just use if there's any clothes that your parents
dearly love.
Please don't use that. If there's anything that's ready to go to an op shop, ask if maybe there's something that has a hole in it or that's broken, because sometimes actually op shops don't take clothes that need mending. So there's a mending pile that, like me, your mum or dad hasn't quite got around to doing. There might be some things in there.
Obviously.
And get together a little scrap material box, because you just never know what it can be used for. Little garments and clothes.
But you could also use coloured paper, tissue paper.
Yes.
To do this sort of thing with your gumnuts. It doesn't have to be
What do you think
fabrics.
about that?
It's pretty amazing. I don't think any of our previous ones have a fluorescent yellow cloak.
Oh, good.
A canary yellow
Alright.
cloak.
So, I'm not sure if that's... How are we going to use those little things there?
We could use them. We could put them around, dot them around the cloak.
Yeah.
That'd look quite nice. Maybe around the top edge.
Oh my gosh, majestic. I feel like he or she is pulling forward a little bit.
It's alright, they seem balanced.
Alright.
Cool. So, shall we then dab on these buttons? Final stage.
And also, often socks get broken and don't get mended, or you'll grow out of them. So socks are a good thing to keep and use to make your own little craft things out of. Oh, that looks nice. A little.
We've done a whole bunch of sock projects.
Yeah, so we're going to be making a few videos now that we've got a bit of a setup of things that you can do at home. So stay at home time. And most of these things appear in Campbell's book. So these guys make an appearance in. Oh, am I supposed to say that?
Spoiler alert.
Uh-oh. So that's adorable. And our our collection don't have eyes or mouths or noses.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that you don't have to.
I like having them without faces when I make them like this.
Yes.
Because then, depending on where you put them and who you put them with, they can have really different feelings and emotions.
I've got this little guy here. And then what you can do is put a few of them together and invent your own little story that they might have, or an adventure they might go on, or what's their relationship, and then that's the beginnings of how to start maybe a writing project or a comics project, or you might want to do little observational drawings of them, because there's so much there to just draw and have fun with.
They're pretty wonderful.
Oh, and we also, when we do this workshop, we also have like a paper craft element.
We do.
So that's going to be free and downloadable for you to print off.
So it's like a paper craft version of it, isn't it? So these are some examples, but it's basically templates of parts. So you can see these are all potentially heads and bodies, arms and legs, flowers, leaves, shells, ropes. And then here's some wonderful examples of ones that students have done, which are great. I always like to see when students try to design their own peaches.
Yeah.
And get really creative about what the peaches are wearing. There's some lovely ones. Yeah. So, give it a go. See how it works for you.
Yeah.
And if you do make one, we'd love to see it. We'd love to see what you come up with.
There we go.
So please send it to us. Send some photos to us.
So yeah, thanks for watching, and stay tuned for some more little videos from us.
More stay at home time.
Based on home time.
Cool.
See
Bye.
you. Bye.